You hear it before you feel it. A thin, high whine circling your ear in the dark. You slap your neck. Too late. A small itchy bump rises where it bit you. Annoying, right? A minor interruption to your sleep. But for most of human history, this wasn't an annoyance. This was a daily war against the single deadliest animal your species has ever faced. Not lions, not snakes, not other humans. A creature smaller than your fingernail, armed with nothing but a needle-thin mouth and a parasite riding in its saliva. So how did your ancestors survive something that still kills hundreds of thousands of people every year, even with modern medicine on their side? The answer is written into your blood. Long before anyone understood what a parasite was, something strange was happening in malaria-heavy regions of Africa. A genetic mutation was spreading through certain populations, one that, in its mildest form, did something remarkable. It made red blood cells slightly harder for the malaria parasite to survive inside. The catch: inherit 2 copies of this mutation and you develop sickle cell disease, a painful and often fatal blood disorder. Inherit just 1 copy and you get partial protection from malaria with few symptoms at all. This is called a balanced polymorphism, which simply means a trait that survives in a population because its costs and benefits balance out across generations. The British scientist J.B.S. Haldane first proposed this connection between malaria and inherited blood disorders back in 1949. He suspected that diseases like sickle cell trait weren't just unlucky mutations. They were a trade written by evolution itself. A small risk accepted in exchange for a much larger reward: survival against a parasite that had been killing humans for longer than written history existed. He was right. Decades later, geneticist Sarah Tishkoff and her colleagues mapped this story in even more detail across African populations. They found multiple separate genetic defenses against malaria, not just one. Some populations carry a trait called Duffy antigen negativity, which makes their red blood cells nearly invisible to a different malaria-causing parasite. Others carry a variation called G6PD deficiency, which interferes with the parasite's ability to feed inside blood cells. Different regions, different mosquito pressures, different evolutionary answers to the exact same enemy. Your body, if your ancestry traces back to these regions, may still be carrying these ancient defenses today. Not luck, inheritance. A war fought by people who never knew what a parasite was, won slowly, generation after generation, written permanently into DNA. But genetics alone wasn't enough. Mosquitoes don't wait for natural selection. They bite tonight. So ancient humans fought back with behavior too. Let's reconstruct the night tens of thousands of years ago, somewhere in the wetlands of ancient Africa. The sun goes down. The air grows thick and still, exactly the conditions mosquitoes love. Around the fire, smoke rises in heavy gray coils. That's not an accident. Smoke confuses a mosquito's sense of smell, the very sense it uses to find warm-blooded prey from meters away. Sit close to the fire, breathe the smoke, and you become harder to find in the dark. Someone crushes leaves between their palms and rubs the paste across bare skin. Across cultures and continents, people independently discovered that certain plants, citronella grass, neem, basil, eucalyptus, contain natural oils that mosquitoes find repulsive. No laboratory, no chemistry, just generations of trial, failure, and memory passed down until the right plants became common knowledge. And by the time we reach ancient Egypt, the solution became architectural. The Greek historian Herodotus, writing in the 5th century BCE, described Egyptians living near the marshes of the Nile, sleeping inside fine nets, originally used for fishing, draped over their beds at night to keep mosquitoes away. A tool built for catching food, repurposed to protect the people eating it. This is one of the earliest written records of a bed net in human history, more than 2,000 years before modern science would prove exactly why it worked. Fire, smoke, crushed leaves, woven nets. None of these people understood parasites or pathogens. They understood pattern. Bitten near water, bitten at dusk, bitten without smoke, sick without a net. Cause and effect, observed and repeated until it became culture. Here's the twist almost no one expects. Hunter-gatherers moving in small bands across open land weren't actually mosquitoes' easiest target. They were too mobile, too spread out, gone from any one watering hole before mosquito populations could explode around them. Then humans invented farming. Agriculture meant staying in one place. It meant clearing land, building irrigation channels, and creating exactly the kind of standing, stagnant water mosquitoes need to breed by the thousands. It meant denser populations living closer together, season after season, in the same fixed location, giving disease an endless, easy supply of new hosts. The very thing that allowed human civilization to grow, permanent settlement, food surplus, larger communities, also turned mosquito-borne disease from an occasional danger into one of the deadliest forces in human history. Malaria didn't survive the agricultural revolution. It thrived on it. Some researchers studying the spread of malaria across human history now believe it became more deadly, not less, as humans built the very civilizations we consider progress. You're still fighting this fight today, even if it doesn't feel like a fight at all. That bottle of bug spray in your kitchen drawer is just the modern version of crushed neem leaves. The screen on your window is just a more permanent version of an Egyptian fishing net. The mosquito coil burning on your porch is the great-great-grandchild of a smoky fire at the edge of an ancient camp. None of the technology is new in spirit, only the materials changed. And somewhere in your blood, depending on where your ancestors lived and what they survived, you may be carrying a genetic answer to a question you never even had to ask. A trade made by people who lived and died long before anyone wrote anything down, encoded permanently into the cells running through your veins right now. You hear it before you feel it. That same thin, high whine in the dark, hunting you the exact same way it hunted every single human before you for nearly the entirety of our species' existence. But now you know what it really is. Not an annoyance, a reminder of every fire that was lit, every leaf that was crushed, every net that was woven, and every trade your blood made, generation after generation, just so you could be here to swat it away tonight.